Good morning, class. So today our lesson is about arts of the Neoclassic and Romantic period. So, what are the principles of art? The principles of art are rhythm, harmony, unity, balance, emphasis, variety, contrast, movement.
So, at this point, let's watch a small video about the principles of art.
Principles of art. Building your creative foundation. Rhythm. Rhythm is the repetition of the elements of art and pattern. Rhythm is made when something in the artwork repeats itself to create a pattern. Notice how the artist uses a series of black and white shapes to create a spiral pattern in this artwork. Emphasis. Emphasis is when one part of an artwork is dominant over other parts. To use emphasis is to create a strong difference in one part of the artwork compared to other parts. This artist used a different color to set one object apart from the others. Balance. Balance is the equalizing visual forces or elements in an artwork. There are three different types of balance. Symmetrical balance is when objects in the artwork are balanced evenly. Asymmetrical balance is when objects are balanced unevenly. Radial balance is when objects in the artwork are balanced in a circular or radial manner. Here, the artist creates an artwork that is both symmetrical and radial. The objects are evenly positioned side to side and they seem to be creating a circular movement. Unity. Unity is the sense of oneness or wholeness in an artwork. Unity is created by having objects in an artwork that use similar elements of art to create oneness. In this artwork, we can see examples of similar shape, color, value, and line all working together. Movement. Movement creates the illusion of action or physical change in an artwork. Movement can be created by using curved or diagonal lines. This artist uses both to create the illusion that these figures are dancing. Harmony. Harmony creates unity by stressing similarities of separate but related parts of an artwork. This artist created a painting using similar colors on each separate part of the landscape. They chose to use soft, blended colors to create harmony between the different objects in the painting. Variety. Variety is concerned with difference or contrast. Variety often shows the differences between similar objects. In this photo, the artist uses a variety of different fruits and vegetables to create a contrast between their shapes, sizes, and colors. Contrast. Contrast is a technique used for creating a focal point. Contrast is similar to emphasis as it creates focus on one part of an artwork more than others. Notice how the center area of the flower in this painting is more detailed than the outer areas. This creates a strong focal point by drawing our eyes directly to the center of the artwork.
Rhythm. Rhythm is the principle of art that describes the movements in or of an artwork. Rhythm is created by the variety and repetition of elements in a work of art that come together to create a visual tempo or beat. Harmony. This is achieved when the elements of an artwork come together in a unified way. Certain elements are repeated yet still look similar. Not monotony and not chaos. Harmony is that perfectly honed combination of both. Unity. Unity is about separate parts working together in a composition. In an artwork, unity creates a sense of harmony and wholeness by using similar elements and placing them in a way that creates a feeling of oneness. Variety adds interest by using juxtaposition and contrasting elements within the composition. Balance. Balance is an artist combine elements to add a feeling of equilibrium or stability to a work of art. It refers to the use of artistic elements such as line, texture, color, and form in the creation of artworks in a way that renders visual stability. Emphasis. Emphasis is used to make certain parts of an artwork stand out. It creates center of interest, a focal point, or which your eyes first draw. Variety is the principle of art that concerned with the diversity or contrast. It is brought about by using different colors, size, and shapes in a work of art. It is the partner of unity, and artists seek balance between the two. Contrast is the arrangement of opposite elements, the light versus dark, rough versus smooth, and small versus large, in a composition to create a visual interest. Area of contrast is where a viewer's eye are usually first drawn. Movement. Movement is how eye moves through the composition, leading the attention of the viewer from one aspect to another. It's also an illusion of action, a sense of movement that can be varied by lines, repetition of elements, and a gestural mark making. So here are the examples of artwork in Neoclassic period. And at this point, let's discuss what principles may be in this artwork. First, first is the Napoleon on the imperial throne. What principles can you see? Is there balance in the picture? If there's a balance, what kind of balance can you see? Yes, it is asymmetrical balance, or radial balance. So, in this artwork, there is a symmetrical balance that is also called a formal balance. The elements that are used in the composition are identical or almost identical on the both sides of the picture plane. Visual weight is also distributed evenly throughout the composition. Although symmetrical parts of an art composition are usually identical, there can also differ in slight variation, which is referred to as approximate symmetry. This is when the parts of both halves do not share the same identical or mirroring qualities, although the shapes or size may still be similar. Next is the intervention of the Sabine woman. In this picture, what principle of art can you see at first look? Is there an emphasis or movement? Maybe there's an emphasis in which the woman or the main character of the artwork stand out and in which the viewer's eyes draw first. And also, there can be a movement where there are implied lines or actual lines that moves through the eyes of the viewer, leading the attention and which aspect or emphasis the illusion of action is. It is a sense of movement that can vary in what I said, lines or a gestural mark making. And now, here are the examples of Romantic period arts. So, in this part, let us also discuss what kinds of principle of arts is shown in the artwork. So, the first picture is the 3rd of May. What can you see in the picture? What principles of art can you see? Directly at you first saw it. So, emphasis. What was given the emphasis? Which part of the artwork has given an emphasis? Correct. It is the man in the picture. So, what kind of emphasis is given? Correct. There is color and value. Value is the element of art which deals with the lightness or darkness of a color. So, what is the value in the picture? Yes, it is the lightness of the color. What is the color that is given in the picture? The brightest color of white. Okay, so the next picture is the wanderer about the sea of fog. So it is also a harmony of color, lines, and there is also a harmony of texture. So what texture can you see in the picture? Is it soft or rough? And harmony of color. What colors are there in the picture? White and blue. And in the harmony of lines, there is a horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and some curves. And in the last picture, the beaches. So in this picture, you can see balance. What type of balance can you see? Is it asymmetric, symmetrical, or radial? Okay, it is a symmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance is where there is an equal balance in both halves of the visual composition and the images are identical to each other. This type of balance in art also includes a mirroring of halves, which is referred as an inverted symmetry. But, as I said before, although symmetrical parts of an art composition are usually identical, this can also differ in slight variation. As long as both sides of the artwork have a similar elements, although the shapes or size may still be similar and have a mirroring qualities. Characteristics of art in Neoclassic period. Portrayal of Roman history, formal composition, the use of diagonals to show the peak of an emotion or moment versus a regular moment, local color, overall lighting, and a classic geostructure. And here are some examples of famous work in Neoclassic period: The Death of Marat, Napoleon Crossing the Alps, Apotheosis of Homer, and Napoleon on the imperial throne. Characteristics of art in Romantic period shows the height of action, emotional extremes, celebrated nature as out of control, dramatic compositions, heightened sensation, life and death moments. And here are some examples of famous work in Romantic period: The 3rd of May, Saturn devouring his sun, Insane Woman, and The Raft of Medusa.